Have you ever wondered what really happened to Buddy Valastro once the cameras stopped rolling on Cake Boss? You know him as the charismatic personality who turned every episode into a spectacle of family drama, artistic genius, and sheer adrenaline. He sculpted gravity-defying works of art from sugar and flour, building an empire that spanned continents. Yet behind those towering fondant spires and cascading fairy tale cakes, a storm was quietly brewing. A moment was on the horizon that threatened his identity, his skill, and every dream he ever dared to imagine. This is not about icing mistakes or late-night cake catastrophes. It's a tale of survival, reinvention, and the unbreakable spirit of Cake Boss. In September 2020, with the world at a standstill, Buddy chose to spend a rare day off at his Montville, New Jersey home. The family's private bowling alley had always been a source of fun, but on that afternoon, amusement turned to catastrophe. A routine jam in the pin set sent a metal rod surging forward, impaling Buddy's dominant right hand. In an instant, bones fractured, tendons snapped, and nerves were crushed beneath cold, unforgiving steel. In the emergency room, surgeons scrambled to reassemble the hands that fueled a baking empire. Yet while they fought to stitch flesh and mend bone, a struggle was unfolding, one that would test his sense of self more than any surgery could. Long before TV lights gleamed, Buddy's story began inside a modest bakery on Washington Street in Hoboken, New Jersey. His parents, Bartolo and Mary Valastro, had emigrated from Italy in search of a better life. They poured their sweat and savings into purchasing Carlos Bakery in 1964, serving homemade cannoli, biscotti, and custom wedding cakes to loyal locals. The bakery was more than a business. It was a living room for the community, a place where generations gathered over espresso and pastry. For young Buddy, stepping behind the counter at age 11 was like entering a workshop. Every roll of dough whispered secrets of precision, patience, and creativity he would later turn into a phenomenon. At 17, Buddy faced a trial no cake designer ever imagines: his father's sudden passing from lung cancer. In an instant, the son who had idolized Bartolo Valastro became the man in charge of a family legacy. With no formal business training or culinary degree, he honored a promise to carry the bakery forward and make his father proud. Nights blurred into dawn as he juggled inventory, conflicts, and the demand for flawless creation. Each morning brought new challenges, customer expectations soaring, ovens demanding attention, and the weight of a community's hopes resting on his shoulders. Yet out of that crucible of loss emerged a baker intent on reinventing tradition with bold designs and ambition. That Buddy's dedication and innovation did not go unnoticed. In 2007, he accepted a challenge on the Food Network, stepping onto national television for the first time. Every second on-screen tested his creativity under pressure, transforming a plain cake base into intricate sculptures before a live audience. Producers saw not just a baker, but a leader whose every wrist flick showed precision. 2 years later, Cake Boss premiered on TLC, revealing the bustling world of Carlos Bakery and the Valastro Brood. From jaw-dropping wedding cakes to last-minute emergencies and family quarrels, the show became a sensation, airing in over 200 territories and turning a local Hoboken shop into an international pilgrimage and sparking cake fever worldwide. Yet in the midst of meteoric success, Buddy's journey was far from smooth. Fame brought scrutiny, and occasional missteps would draw headlines. From a DUI arrest where he infamously quipped, "I'm the cake boss," to a regrettable prank caught on camera that sparked controversy over respect and representation. Behind the laughter and drama, Buddy silently battled anxiety and panic attacks, a weight he rarely spoke about on air. He felt the pressure of leading an enterprise that demanded perfection, even as his personal life carried its own private storms. Each triumph on screen masked a hunger for balance, a longing to be both a devoted family man and an artist free from the shackles of public expectation. For Buddy Valastro, that balance remained elusive, until a single moment forced him to confront not just his bakery, but his legacy. The moment came on a quiet afternoon in Montville, New Jersey, when Buddy's hands, tools of a master, met an unforgiving metal force. It began like any other day of pandemic life, with the bakery doors shuttered and the world's pace slowed. Buddy lounged in the private bowling alley at home, laughing with his sons as pins clattered and the aroma of cleaning supplies hung in the air. When the pin setter jammed, he leaned in, confident he could clear the jam as he had countless times before. When his gloveless hand slipped past the safety guard, a half-inch steel rod lunged out, driving into his dominant hand with bone-crushing force. A single moment transformed the cake boss's identity from confident creator to vulnerable patient. Rushed to the emergency room, Buddy felt time warp around him. Every shift of the gurney, every antiseptic sting, zoomed by as surgeons prepared for emergency reconstruction. A symphony of alarms punctuated the bright white corridor, echoing the gravity of a crisis far removed from fondant flowers and buttercream swirls. That hand represented decades of artistry, a livelihood built on millimeters of precision and strength earned through late nights and early mornings. As the on-call team scrubbed in, Buddy's mind raced with the what-ifs. What if the damage was permanent? What if his dexterity never returned? With multiple fractures, severed tendons, and nerve damage, the surgeons confronted a puzzle with skin, bone, and wire. What began as a routine fix-up had become an operation to safeguard a legacy. As Buddy drifted in and out of consciousness, flashes of the bakery flitted before him. Rows of tiered masterpieces, the glow of the oven timer, his father's guiding voice murmuring, "Perfection, always perfection." Now those vivid memories contrasted with sterile hospital lights. The phrase, "without my hands, I'm nothing," echoed in his mind like a taunting refrain. His wife, Lisa, held his other hand, eyes brimming with fear and fierce determination. His sons hovered nearby, offering quiet strength. That moment of collective vulnerability unveiled the profound truth. This injury struck at the heart of what defined him. For the first time, Buddy confronted the unsettling prospect that artistry might fail him. But if crisis is the forge of character, he was still in the fire. The first days of rehabilitation felt like scaling a mountain barefoot. Physical therapy sessions stretched across hours, a litany of exercises designed to coax movement from bones and fibers that refused to obey. Wrapping his hand around a soft rubber ball felt alien. Simple tasks like unscrewing a jar lid became triumphs of willpower. Yet amidst the frustration and tears, those small victories fueled a deeper resolve. Each spasming tendon and aching muscle became a testament to his determination. Families and fans watched updates on social media, cheering every milestone. And though the road to recovery was strewn with setbacks, random infections, plates that didn't align, nerves that misfired, there was no option to surrender. Buddy's identity was at stake, and he answered the call with resilience. Months later, Buddy slipped back into the bakery, his repaired hand wrapped in a brace, yet restless to create. The first cake he dared to tackle was deceptively simple, a single-tier vanilla sponge. Yet under his cautious gaze, each layer became symbolic, a ritual of reclamation. As he applied buttercream, his fingers hesitated at first, then flowed with the muscle memory of thousands of cakes made before. The bakery team watched in hushed awe, sensing more than a pastry being crafted. This was a declaration. The cake boss was far from finished. Cameras captured the moment for a new series, seizing the contrast between wounded vulnerability and unwavering artistry. When the finished cake emerged, flawless, radiant, triumphant, emotions overflowed. Fans around the globe shared tears of relief and joy. From that day forward, his priorities shifted. The accident taught him that legacy extends beyond towering cakes. It lives in the people he inspires. Buddy began mentoring bakers online with virtual masterclasses, sharing raw moments of struggle alongside sweet successes. He leaned into digital channels, connecting directly with fans and students worldwide. Today, when viewers ask, "Are you okay?" he responds with quiet confidence. Not only is the cake boss back, he's stronger, wiser, and more determined to leave a lasting mark on baking. Even with his hands healing, Buddy's path forward was far from smooth. In late 2021, news broke of a DUI arrest in New York City, an episode that stunned fans who knew him only as the jovial cake boss. He had been pulled over after swerving lanes, breathalyzer in hand, stumbling over an excuse before uttering the infamous phrase, "I'm the cake boss. You can't arrest me." That offhand remark quickly became a headline, casting a shadow over his wholesome brand. Within hours, he issued a heartfelt apology, acknowledging the mistake and vowing to earn back trust. While the legal repercussions were minor, a suspended license and a fine, the emotional fallout was deeper. For Buddy, it marked a turning point, a moment when the trappings of fame collided head-on with personal responsibility. The incident reminded him that every word and action carried weight, both for his family and for a global audience watching closely. Around the same era, another controversy rippled through the Cake Boss universe. A prank orchestrated by producers involved tricking one of Buddy's cousins into flirting with Carmen Carrera, only to reveal she was a transgender model. The fallout was immediate and fierce. Advocacy groups condemned the stunt as insensitive and exploitative, and the episode was swiftly pulled from syndication. Buddy, known for his genuine warmth on camera, found himself apologizing yet again, grappling with guilt over a joke that went too far. He reflected publicly on the importance of respect and inclusion, acknowledging that humor should never come at the expense of another's dignity. The experience became a lesson in the perils of unexamined comedy. It also signaled a shift in his creative control. He would scrutinize every segment, ensuring future content reflected empathy rather than opportunism. During these public reckonings, Buddy also confronted battles no camera could capture: his own mental health. Years of pressure to remain flawless in every cake design and family transaction had manifested in panic attacks that caught him off guard. In one harrowing episode, he found himself in an emergency ward after a sudden bout of overwhelming fear, palms sweating, vision blurring, convinced he was failing everyone who depended on him. Initially, he kept these struggles private, afraid of appearing weak. Yet in time, he chose transparency over stigma, working with mental health professionals and speaking candidly in interviews. By opening up, he discovered a community of fans sharing their own stories of anxiety and depression. His vulnerability became a source of connection, illustrating that even those who seem invincible face unseen battles. Gradually, he wove self-care into his routine: meditation between cake orders, counseling sessions tucked between shoots, and honest conversations with his wife and children. Perhaps the most profound sorrow came in 2017 when Buddy announced the passing of his mother, Mary Valastro, after a long battle with ALS. Known affectionately as Mama Mary, she had been the gentle anchor of Carlos Bakery, offering sage advice and an ever-present smile, her recipes laced with tradition and familial love. Her loss reverberated in every corner of the bakery and behind every camera lens, dimming the once vibrant energy on set. Buddy spoke of the void she left behind, describing each episode of Cake Boss thereafter as a bittersweet tribute. He dedicated every tiered masterpiece to her memory, sprinkling subtle touches, an extra piped rose, a silent nod in the voiceover, to honor her influence. The experience deepened his appreciation of legacy, reinforcing that family was the core ingredient of any lasting creation. He realized that success measured not in ratings or profits, but in the love and lessons inherited across generations. These trials, however, did not break him. They refined him. As the dust settled, Buddy refocused on what mattered most: the craft, the people, and the spark that ignited his journey. He began mentoring aspiring bakers through virtual masterclasses, sharing both triumphs and setbacks with unvarnished honesty. From mixing the perfect buttercream to navigating self-doubt, his online courses blended technical expertise with candid storytelling. Instead of scripted perfection, viewers witnessed his real-time challenges: the cake layers tilting unexpectedly, a piping bag mishap, the laughter that followed. By lifting the veil on behind-the-scenes hard work, Buddy forged deeper connections, turning casual fans into dedicated disciples of his style. The digital pivot also proved strategic. Through social media live streams and interactive Q&A sessions, he rebuilt trust and renewed his sense of purpose beyond glossy TV moments. In 2023, Buddy unveiled his boldest move yet: a new series, Cake Dynasty, marking his official return to television. This time, the spotlight extended beyond his own hands to his children, who stood beside him bearing the same mixture of excitement and nerves he once felt as a teenager. He crafted an 8-episode arc that balanced massive cake challenges with intimate moments of mentorship, guiding his eldest daughter through fondant fundamentals while teaching his sons the art of scaling a bakery business. Viewers watched as he passed down treasured family recipes, moments that felt far more poignant after the loss of his mother and the injury to his hand. The contrast between the boisterous family banter and the focused lessons in the kitchen created a narrative tension that resonated powerfully. Cake Dynasty showcased not just a comeback, but an evolution, from solo star to patriarch, from prodigy to mentor. Simultaneously, Buddy reimagined the physical footprint of Carlos Bakery. In April 2024, he opened a flagship location in New York City's Times Square, a high-stakes stage where neon lights meet high-foot traffic and global exposure. Gone were the cramped storefront counters of Hoboken. Here, sleek glass cases displayed rainbow layers and shimmering confections beneath towering billboards. Self-serve cake vending machines lined the entrance, inviting passers-by to grab a slice on the go, while a dedicated selfie station encouraged social media shares. The design struck a balance between old-world charm, handwritten chalkboard menus, family portraits hung on exposed brick, and modern flair, featuring interactive digital kiosks that let customers personalize orders in real time. The grand opening drew crowds stretching down Broadway, proof that the Cake Boss's brand still carried irresistible draw, even amidst a digital revolution. Behind this glittering launch, Buddy continued to grapple with the realities of his repaired hand. He demonstrated new techniques on camera, revealing how he adapted his grip and leveraged assistive tools when decorating intricate sugar flowers. He spoke candidly about the lingering physical limitations, how some piping bag motions now relied more on arm than wrist, how fine motor tasks sometimes fatigue his hand faster than before. Yet he framed these details not as deficits, but as opportunities to innovate. He encouraged his team to develop custom tools and to collaborate on new techniques that could be shared with home bakers everywhere. In doing so, he transformed personal adversity into communal growth, reinforcing his belief that resilience can be taught as a recipe itself. The transformation that began in a single-tier vanilla cake soon expanded far beyond the walls of any bakery. Buddy recognized that in a post-accident world, his influence could extend deeper than TV ratings or storefront foot traffic. He launched a line of DIY cake kits, complete with pre-portioned batter, color-coded fondant, and step-by-step video tutorials filmed from his own kitchen. Fans unbox the kits, lay out the ingredients, and follow his patient voice guiding them through piping borders and sculpting blossoms. Suddenly, the Cake Boss wasn't just a spectator behind a camera. He was a mentor whispering tips directly into home bakers' ears. Sales soared as subscribers praised the kits for delivering professional quality results with a sprinkle of Buddy's trademark encouragement. The kits became a ritual for weekend bakers, mother-daughter duos, and aspiring entrepreneurs whose kitchens turned into miniature classrooms of sugar and spice. Each success story fueled a sense of community, transforming private kitchens into a global network of learners united by fondant and fond memories. At the same time, Buddy's digital footprint widened. He launched a monthly Behind the Apron live stream, inviting fans to peek at unreleased cake concepts, ask questions about his rehabilitation journey, or share their own baking triumphs and embarrassments. No filter meant no perfection. He mixed wallets of chocolate ganache on camera, paused midstream to adjust his brace, and laughed along when a rogue pet tail knocked over a piping bag. These unscripted moments became as beloved as his sculpted sugar creations. Viewers felt they weren't just watching a celebrity. They were catching up with an old friend who showed up despite setbacks, who stumbled in public, yet kept moving forward. Engagement skyrocketed as comments poured in. "Your vulnerability makes me brave. I tried the DIY kit and nailed it. I felt like Cake Boss Jr., and thank you for showing us realness in a world of filters." Parallel to these digital ventures, Buddy deepened his commitment to causes close to his heart. He partnered with ALS charities to fund research in his mother's name, hosting annual Bake for Hope telethons where celebrity pastry chefs competed in speed cake challenges to raise money. In one memorable episode, he returned to the very lane where he was injured, now painted with bright murals and messaging of strength, and hosted a bowling bake fundraiser. Every ticket sold funded a physical therapy grant for injured workers across America. His advocacy for mental health carried equal passion. He joined forces with anxiety and depression associations to produce public service videos on stress management, self-compassion, and the importance of seeking help. These philanthropic efforts reframed Buddy's brand from a cake impresario to a changemaker, illustrating that his legacy rested not just on sugar artistry, but on generosity and empathy. By mid-2024, the Cake Boss brand had blossomed into a multifaceted empire. Carlos Bakery licensees popped up in airports and cruise lines, offering signature cannoli and mini-frosted cupcakes to travelers en route to unknown adventures. A limited edition collaboration with a major coffee chain delivered Valastro vanilla espresso cakes in every city block, with QR codes linking to exclusive behind-the-scenes videos showcasing how Buddy customizes flavors for different palates. His cookbook, once a linear recipe collection, transformed into an interactive edition featuring augmented reality features. Scan the page and see Buddy demonstrate folding meringue in real time. Readers rave that the AR segments felt immersive, akin to standing shoulder to shoulder with the Cake Boss himself. Yet his heart remained anchored in mentorship. He announced the upcoming launch of the Buddy Valastro Baking Academy, an online masterclass series with tiered curricula, from buttercream basics for novices to sugar sculpture secrets for advanced artisans. Scholarships would reserve spots for underprivileged youth passionate about culinary arts, fulfilling a promise he'd made to his father's memory, to open doors for those who, like young Buddy, only needed a chance to prove their talent. Accepted Academy students would receive one-on-one coaching, monthly critique sessions, and the opportunity to intern at a Carlos Bakery location of their choice. The prospect of studying under the Cake Boss drew applicants globally. Waiting lists stretched into the thousands, and social feeds buzzed with hopeful testimonials. "I've dreamed of this chance since I saw the show at age 10. This could change my family's future." Even as the empire grew, Buddy never lost sight of daily bread. He instituted weekly check-ins at each bakery location, sometimes masked, other times undercover, to sample new recipes, chat with staff, and field suggestions from the front line. He became known for the Cake Boss pop-up surprise, dropping unannounced into random stores with free slices and pizza cupcakes, igniting spontaneous celebrations that fans documented in real time. Those pop-ups became legendary, fanning FOMO across social media. "Did you hear Cake Boss is at the airport bakery right now? He's handing out free cake slices at the mall." Behind every strategic move, Buddy carried the lessons of his accident and controversies to nurture authenticity, accept vulnerability, and lean into community. The DIY kits, live streams, fundraisers, AR cookbooks, and academy were not just revenue streams. They were chapters in a story of resilience, reinvention, and generosity. As he often said on camera, "A cake is more than sugar and eggs. It's a celebration of human spirit." In the final seconds of his latest livestream, he cracked a grin and teased, "Next week I'll show you how to build a gravity-defying circus cake, complete with tiny elephants. You won't want to miss this." Behind the whirlwind of global expansion and groundbreaking products, Buddy often finds himself reflecting on the delicate balance between empire building and family life, the very duality that has driven him since he first tied his apron strings at age 11. In quieter moments before dawn, he walks the aisles of his flagship Times Square bakery, sampling croissants with a practiced palate and pausing to scroll through bedtime messages from his children. Those texts, filled with simple declarations of "love you, Dad," or photos of their own cake designs, serve as gentle reminders of what truly fuels his passion. Even amid the applause of international fans and the glow of neon billboards, it's the soft reassurance of family pride that grounds him. Lisa, Buddy's wife, stands as his unwavering anchor, a quiet partner whose influence often goes unheralded but never unnoticed. She manages the home front with a blend of intuition and pragmatism, juggling school runs, medical appointments, and the occasional last-minute pastry sample testing. When cameras roll, she moves with graceful confidence in the background, offering a steadying hand when childhood anxieties spill over, or sketching floral cake motifs on napkins during production meetings. Their relationship thrives on mutual respect. He admires her sense of calm under pressure, and she admires his relentless creativity. Together, they forge decisions on everything from expansion budgets to mental health initiatives, weaving their professional and personal lives into an evolving tapestry of support. Their four children, Sophia, Buddy Jr., Marco, and Carlo, now command substantial roles in the Cake dynasty, each forging their own identity while honoring the family legacy. Sophia, with her keen eye for color harmony, manages the new creative lab where experimental flavors like lavender honey and yuzu raspberry come to life. Buddy Jr., ever the strategist, analyzes sales metrics and suggests location optimizations. Marco channels his boundless energy into overseeing logistics and supply chains, ensuring each bakery shelf's inventory gleams with fresh confections. And young Carlo already displays a budding talent for sugar sculpture, shaping fondant petals on frosted cupcakes during weekend workshops. In teaching his children, Buddy finds profound joy. Each moment of guidance feels like a pledge to carry his parents' original vision forward. This sense of generational continuity drives the mentorship programs Buddy champions beyond his own family. Through the Buddy Valastro Baking Academy, he personally interviews scholarship applicants from underserved communities, listening to stories of perseverance and ambition that resonate with his own early struggles. He recounts his first day behind the counter, trembling hands dusted with flour, and urges students to view every mishap as an opportunity. Virtual masterclasses now feature guest instructors, former scholarship recipients who credit the Academy with launching their own culinary enterprises. In chat rooms alive with questions about piping techniques and flavor pairings, Buddy occasionally appears in person, sharing anecdotes about his mother's secret cannoli recipe or the day he first saw his designs printed in a bridal magazine. These interactions remind him that legacy isn't merely an inheritance of profits. It's a chain of inspiration linking every aspiring baker to the love poured into each batter and glaze. Looking forward, Buddy envisions a future where technology and tradition meld more seamlessly than ever before. He has greenlit research into AI-driven recipe development, partnering with a tech startup that uses machine learning to analyze flavor combinations and textures across thousands of dessert profiles. Early trials have suggested bold pairings: chili-infused dark chocolate donuts, Earl Grey panna cotta topped with sea salt caramel shards, that echo his father's daring spirit. Meanwhile, his R&D team experiments with eco-friendly packaging, compostable cake boxes imbued with a fragrant hint of vanilla seed. When he describes these projects in interviews, his eyes light up with that familiar spark, the thrill of turning imagination into edible reality. Television remains another horizon Buddy is eager to explore. He's in talks with streaming platforms for a documentary series chronicling his accident and recovery in real time, combining archival footage with new interviews that reveal the emotional journey beneath the stitches and surgeries. He imagines episodes delving into each surgery path, the grit of physical therapy, the mental hurdles, and the breakthroughs that followed. Beyond that, he's conceptualizing an interactive cooking show where home bakers compete via live video feed, judged by Buddy himself while he walks through his New Jersey loft kitchen. The goal is to build community, to celebrate the messes as much as the masterpieces, and to keep pushing the art of baking into unexplored territory. Amid these grand plans, Buddy remains mindful of his ongoing rehabilitation. He begins each morning with a set of hand-strengthening exercises, warming tendons with rice grinders and resistance bands before even tying on his apron. He applies this ritual to mentoring moments too. When a protege seems stuck, he encourages them to focus on fundamentals, rolling dough with equal pressure, aiming for consistency in batter. He often remarks, "If you can rebuild a ruined batch, you can rebuild your life." This perspective, forged in pain and adversity, now permeates every corner of his brand. From the heart-shaped sugar cookies sold at pop-up events to the philanthropic telethons for ALS research, Buddy Valastro's mission transcends business. It's a testament to generosity, perseverance, and the belief that every cracked shell and shattered bone can lead to newfound strength. Even now, as the neon lights of Times Square fade into the dawn, Buddy Valastro keeps the momentum alive with the same hunger that first drove an 11-year-old boy to roll dough at his father's side. He knows that every triumph, from rebuilding his hand to launching global initiatives, hinges on a willingness to confront uncertainty. One moment, He commands a glittering stage with towering circus cakes. The next, he confronts the frailty of flesh and bone with morning therapy exercises. This tension between spectacle and vulnerability gives his story its pulse. Contrast the rush of an opening day, when fans surge for free slices, with the hush that falls over a hospital corridor during a critical surgery. In that space between applause and anesthesia, you glimpse the true heart of the cake boss, a man determined to transform every setback into a new recipe for resilience. It wasn't just surgical steel that reshaped Buddy's narrative. It was the outpouring of solidarity from his community. The same people who lined up for Rainbow Layer cupcakes shared resources for his charitable Bake for Hope events, and the DIY kits he packaged now double as tools for empowerment. A mother battling her own health crisis texts photos of her children's first fondant figures. A veteran finds solace sculpting sugar petals while navigating physical therapy. Each kit carries more than ingredients. It delivers a message. Creativity can heal the deepest wounds. In shifting the lens from celebrity to collective, Buddy moved his brand beyond gilded tiers into the realm of lasting human connection. That pivot is the real secret behind the empire he's building. Looking ahead, technology and tradition dance together in Buddy's kitchen like a perfect ganache. Algorithms suggest daring flavor pairings. Smoked maple whiskey cake with candied jalapeno ribbons, while handcrafted sugar sculptures remain as timeless as his family recipes. He imagines a future where AI-guided ovens adjust temperature in real time, ensuring that every cake layer bakes to ideal crumb and crumb. Meanwhile, the hum of a 3D printing sugar press hums in an adjacent lab, allowing his R&D team to prototype edible masterpieces in minutes. Yet through it all, he insists that no machine can replace the warmth of a father's hand guiding a child's first swirl of buttercream. It's that blend of innovation and intimacy, of digital dashboards and dinner table conversations, that defines the next chapter of Cake Dynasty. Ultimately, Buddy Valastro's journey is more than a sequence of dramatic events. It embodies a universal lesson about tenacity, reinvention, and the power of legacy. He rose from a child helping in a Hoboken bakery to an international sensation, only to be humbled by a freak accident that scarred his hand and threatened his identity. He weathered public stumbles, from a DUI arrest to cultural missteps, choosing to confront each with transparency and growth. He lost the guiding lights of both parents, yet honored their memory through philanthropy and family mentorship. And now, as he passes the piping bag to his children and invites future bakers to join his academy, he reminds us that every setback can become a service, every fault line an opportunity. In watching his story unfold, we see our own lives reflected in the icing cracks and the triumphant new tiers. So, have you heard what happened to Buddy Valastro from Cake Boss? You've seen the frosting rainbows and the gravity-defying spires, but the real story isn't about pastry techniques or reality TV drama. It's about the unbreakable spirit of a man who turned a devastating injury into a legacy of generosity and innovation. If his tale sparks a spark in you, whether to bake a first cake, launch a dream, or simply keep fighting when life tumbles the pins, drop a comment below. Let us know which chapter of Buddy's journey moved you most, and share your own stories of resilience. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the next video for more inspiring deep dives into the people who refuse to stay down. Because sometimes, the sweetest victories rise from the hardest breaks.